Dum, da, dum, 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 dum. Is there anybody out there? Oh, I see one. Who is it? Are they going to ask something? Who knows? I'm not Gypsy Rosalie. I ain't got a crystal ball. Ain't got no crystal balls. Hello, Tony. Good to see you. Well, I can't see you, you know what I mean, but I'm just having a test more than anything. See if I fancy doing live stuff, if I can handle it. Because I've not done out for a few days. I've had the lurgy and been doing night shift. I'd say happy days, but it were nights. So how's it going? You having a good day, Tony? Got two now. Wow. Who's the other? Come on, fess up. Oh, God. Doesn't matter, eh? As long as you get a message across, I'm not rushing. I'm not exactly Speedy Gonzales myself, lad. Oh, God. Well, I've not been doing anything, but as usual, I've been buying off eBay. Dreaded eBay. It's too easy to press your mouse. I've got absolutely loads of projects I could do. Oh, God, tell me about it, Tony. Ain't getting any younger either. The years go faster as I get older. It's like being a bloody winter bobsledder, going downhill fast. Well, a couple of things I want to do. I've got one here. I've got a mallard, which it's somebody in some time. If it, I noticed it on it. Where is it? There we go. It's got written on it, module number 1. So I'm presuming somebody's put a 0 1 chip in it. So I'll be taking that out, and I may put a DCC chip in the future. Well, I don't know. I still don't know whether run DC or not. Yeah, no. Oh, God. What else have I got? I've got that one. Oh, I've got. Oh, Jesus, excuse me. I bought a Hornby Flying Scotsman from Rails of Sheffield, and I bought it faulty. I've had a quick look at it, and I've found the problem, and it was a small problem. It can be repaired easy, but I've already got this model, so I'm gonna convert this. I'm gonna rename and renumber it to another. I've sent off the plates, and I've already got the decals and Fox transfers. I bought a cracking little LNER J52. I don't think I'll do anything on the channel without it. It's pretty nice as is. I've got a Class 58. I bought some etched brass for it. So I'm planning on doing the etched brass detailing and weathering. That's somebody else's repaint into EWS. It's not the best repaint, but with some weathering, should be good. I've got an American one I bought at Doncaster, American HR. I bought at Doncaster. It needs paint's been put on about, I think it's emulsion put on with a roller. So I'll be stripping the paint off. They've actually done the decals good, but the thickness of the paint spoils it. But that, I've not fully made up my mind what livery it'll be going into, but I've electrically tested it, and once I solder all the wires together, it's all sound, no issues. It's just somebody insisted on cutting all the wires. God knows why. I've got a Greater Manchester Pacer set. It only had one motor. I've bought the motor for it. I'm going to have to make my own pickups. And also, I'm not 100% sure of these, but I got those off the dreaded Fleabay seated passengers, but they're more like Victorian to 1950s dress. So I don't think they go in with a Pacer. So unless I sand the hats off and paint more modern clothing on them and that, I think I might be looking for more modern figures. But that's another one. So I've got quite a few things in pipeline. That's just a small percentage. Anyway, we've still got two. Who's the second lurker? Come on. Hold your hand up. Oh, looking at that. Decent. Oh, God. Excuse me. Yeah, I've just noticed, Tony, you've got DCC and DC. Good way to go. Right, what do you call it? I've got some DCC. I've got about 150 locals and there's about 7 DCC. You still dress like that, Tony. Hey, I have my days. I definitely have. I've got a flat cap somewhere. Look like bloody, what do you call it? Fred Dibner. Do you like that? Well, yeah, he only lived up road from me, Fred Dibner. Like the garage, somebody local, bought his Land Rovers and they go around the steam fairs and a garage up the road maintains them. So every now and again I still see Fred's Land Rovers. Oh God, yeah, definite legend, Tony. Like I say, we're only up road. And amazing, all the stuff I used to do. Because I'm near East Lancs, I used to always be at East Lancs. When I was a kid, I used to load up the little engines when East Lancs Railway were only Bury Transport Museum and just doing brake van rides. I used to fill the little tank engines up with coal. Me and my mate giving a bucket each and like fill the bucket with hand, then tip it in bunker. I used to fill up an old Andrew Barclay and it had North West Gas Board lettering on, and I used to fill up Gothenburg. They used to be together, both them engines, and I used to call up Gothenburg and the Andrew Barclay before they repainted Gothenburg as Thomas. It makes a lot, granted, it makes a lot more money than Thomas, but it were an absolutely beautiful local in its Manchester Ship Canal livery as Gothenburg. I think we've only got you, Tony, unless you disappeared and we've just got the worker. Oh, they were happy days, Tony. Happy days. Used to go home at night, full of bloody cold, black smudges everywhere, leaving black smudges on the house. Oh, hey, up, gone up to 3. Yeah, leaving cold smudges on the house. Getting cracked overhead and told to have a bath before I come down for tea. Happy days. No, back then as well, Bury Transport Museum, a guy called Harry Archer had one of the back rooms, and he had a big model railway in there. So we used to be messing around in that room watching model railway as kids and calling up locals, then watching them online. We used to put 2p's on the line so they flattened up. Oh, I got up to all sorts of crazy shit. Oh, good fun. Yeah, so I've been into it for ages. I do other stuff as model railways. I restore old modern mammoth traction engines. Yeah. I've got what? Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got about 10 in all. I've got the mammoth steam wagon, the road roller, about 4 traction engines, static engines. I restore one of them when I got the chance. Yeah, the old big pennies. Hey, if you pop over to Southport, the penny arcade at the end of the pier, all that uses is it's all run off the old pennies. You probably won't get one in slotted if you'd been run over by a train. It'd be like a dustbin lid. But yeah, we did all sorts, penny online and the odd bit of ballast. You used to have to duck from it pinging. Health and safety would have had a field day nowadays. But the good fun you got off with in 70s. Like 60s, 70s, 80s were fantastic. After that, you started getting all the health and safety and the right, everyone's a victim mentality where you can't do anything. Fantastic times to live. Some of these modern people, if they lived with us back then, they'd have a mental fry down all the stuff you did. We've got 3. Come on, fess up. Who's the workers? Is there anybody there? Not once for yes and twice for no. Who the fuck's knocking? Yeah, the things we got up to in 70s, no health and safeties. And we did it in Clark's sandals. Bloody hell, you used to get taken to Clark's, have them measure your feet. That's if you weren't getting hand downs off somebody else. They only measured your feet for your school shoes. So school could see your parents had done it proper. Yeah, back to school after school with Clark's shoes. They were weird days. Anyway, my thoughts are at the moment, when I get a chance, I've sold my motorcycle. I was getting too old for that shit, the stupid shit I used to get onto. Up to on it. Oh, for sure, Tony, I'd go back in an heartbeat. Like, you got up to stuff you couldn't dream of today. There were less thieves and dishonest people around. Don't get me wrong, we still had them, but there were less of them about than there are today. Nowadays, everybody's trying to scam you. And the worst bit is all the councils and all the big businesses, they're getting greedier and greedier. I mean, you look back, when I bought my motorcycle, I bought an absolutely beautiful 2000 Yamaha 600 Phaser, and they're like a detuned race engine in them, and they're well known as a damn good 600, a wheelie bike. They were good for wheelies. I've had it on back wheel a few times. That's why I've quit. I was getting too old for scary stuff like that. But yeah, it is of all evil, for sure. But you can't tell me I paid 1,200 quid for that bike. I toured the Lake District on it, went everywhere. And you compare it to paying 300 quid for an Armby engine. No, no, I don't think so. When you can buy a really good performance motorcycle that you can go on tour the lakes on for 1,200 quid, and it's only worth 4 Armby. And locals, don't think so. It's not how cash I'll spend out. I'll spend on lower end stuff and renovate it, detail it. Well, that's it. The bike I had, like I've sold it last week, but if you think of it, it's 0 to 60 time. It was faster than most Ferraris in the lineup. It'd do 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, which beats a lot of Ferraris, so it's a performance vehicle. And like saying money buys you 4 small Army locals. It's if people are put in that position now to look at what they're spending money on nowadays, they're going to kill the Hobbit pretty soon. Because people say, sod it, well, I should have stayed, just get a motorbike or get this, get that, whatever. Cheaper alternatives. Because people will now look at what they're spending money on. Anyway, another thing, what a lot won't realise, I'm also an artist, and I'm actually planning a railway painting. I'm planning one of Hey Tony, I wouldn't, if I had my time over again, I wouldn't touch an electric bike. It's all smoke and mirrors and bullshit to make you buy more products. All this green stuff's bullshit. They just want to be continually making you renew. It's not about being green, it's about taking money off you. If you have to be all electric by 2030, how many new cars is that putting into the economy? And to be honest, they're not much better than petrol and diesel vehicles because you can't recycle the batteries. And once everyone's on electric vehicles, the power stations won't be able to supply the demand for it. Imagine the whole of the UK trying to charge up as well as the electric demand they can't cope with now. I forgot I was watching something the other day on America planning on going all electric. They reckon the amount of new nuclear power stations they'd have to keep up with the demand for electricity would be in the hundreds or thousands they'd have to build. It's a fallacy, all the electric. All the time we've had electric. All the time, sorry, we've had vehicles and the combustion engine. Some of the first cars were electric, and they did away with them then for the reasons they'll do away with them now. They just aren't as good a prospect as they seem. Yeah, Tony, I do commissions every now and again, but it's one of them things. I used to work as a freelance photographer, and I've done bits since. I've done weddings and stuff. The problem is when you start, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's brilliant. You never work a day again if your hobby is your work." It's bullshit. What they don't tell you is you you're working and about 1% will be your actual enjoyed thing. And the rest is like, with me with photography, it was dark room work, framing, printing, writing correspondence, renewing chemicals, cleaning chemical baths out. Because I did my own developing and printing, and it's a lot of bullshit. Like, if you do your hobby, you'll never work again. You'll enjoy what you're working at, but you won't enjoy it as much as if it were just an hobby. If anybody tells you that, they're lying. Well, that's why I just keep it down. I'll do perhaps 4 a year. I've done portraits for people and stuff. I've done airbrush work on the interior of the VW camper. I did the roof panels where a galaxy scene and a planet, and it was made up of VW on his roof board. So I can do vehicle stuff, I can do airbrushing. But again, where does it start to feel like work rather than an enjoyment? Bloody hell, I'll have to get this camera sat better. Somebody said last night I look like a Chad. Hang on. Get my hands right. I look like a Chad. What, no trains? Hey up, we've got 4 in. Gradually getting up now. No, as soon as I said 4, he went again. Happy days. Come in, sit down. No, he went. Yeah, I don't know what to make of this live stuff, whether to do it regular or just every now and again. I'm only doing it this week because I've not had a chance to put a video together through working nights and being ill and that. I've only just got voice back, and it's still not brilliant anyway. So hang on, just looking. I think one of my next ones, I've got a few. I've got some transfers here. I bought BR mixed traffic lining set. For I'm doing try again. BR mixed traffic lining. Because I've got a old Triang 262, which was a favourite, and I want to bring it up to date. I want to put newer wheels on. I'm going to check it. I've got a Thomas the Tank Engine chassis, and I think I'll strip the wheels off that and use them off that. I'll leave the central ones because they're an individual engineered item for the con rods and stuff. And I'll leave that centre one on and replace the 2 outer so it gives smaller flanges. Or maybe use my Technique engineer on and turn on with files so they filed down a bit and put them back out. I don't know. If the more modern Hornby ones fit with the axle diameter into the chassis, I think I'll be on to a winner and use them. All I'll have to do is like strip the paint, undercoat them, put black on, and then build it up. And that should. I've also got some spoked wheels for the front and rear bogies, so they should look nice. What did you do as a sailor, Tony? My old man was ex-World War II, Royal Navy. He was an AB. Like he had one of the claims to fame during World War II. that he served on a ship after it had been sunk. But can you tell me which one? Yeah, he was well known in World War II folklore. But yeah, he could actually have the claim to fame. There weren't many sailors could say it, that he served on a ship after it had been sunk. Oh yeah, he did some other interesting ships. Oh, cool, Tony. Which ship's you been on with RN? I'm not mentioning there's 5 in now. 6, oh. Not mention there's 6 in, or somebody else might disappear. Yeah, he would definitely call him with me old fella, though. He used to always say he'd go back in an heartbeat. Only word I put it. Can't remember where I put it, doesn't matter. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, he did good. He had good fun. He were on ships, big and small, with RN. During World War II, he were on everything from minesweepers. Well, Paul, there's a thing. I've got a soft spot for them. The little Hornby 040s. I couldn't tell you, but it's quite a few. I like all the different variations of the Pug and the Holden. And they're entered the modern chassis. It's, the modern chassis, the Chinese one. It's crap quality wise, but when it's running, it's a better runner than the old Hornby one. But the old Hornby one was better quality, materials wise. It's been cheapened down, but I don't know how the Chinese have done it. They've improved it, but at the same time they've cheapened it. It seems to do. I mean, a lot of people now they say, "Oh, Hornby's quality." I mean, a lot of people are getting detail confused with quality. The old Airfix locos in the 70s give you detail, but they weren't quality. They're like Chinese ones. They were well known for axles snapping, poor quality stuff on them. Which were a shame, really, because a lot of them, if they were done right, they run well. The actual motors were pretty good, and the split chassis idea were pretty good. It was just how they joined the wheels. They've got a better idea of how to do it now. They still like is it the J72, I think? Now they've got a square peg in it and they have a screw that holds it on so they don't break like they used to. Ah, you were on mine countermeasures, Tony. Minesweepers. My dad was, I suppose I can talk about it now after World War II, but it was top secret at the time. He was working on the top secret stuff on minesweepers when they had that electromagnetic belt around the minesweepers or whatever. He were working on that. He were on HMS Springtide. Amongst others, he was, what was another one he were on? He were on an hospital ship, I think, and he were on big battleship. But the big battleship he were on, they had the bragging rights that he served on it after he'd been sunk, was HMS Queen Elizabeth. And hence in World War II, he was the original Queen Elizabeth, not Queen Elizabeth II. It's like the aircraft carrier now. A lot of people think it's named after Queen Elizabeth, as was who we had. But it weren't. It was named after Elizabeth I, because it had the Tudor rose on the ship's crest. Yeah, that's what it was, Tony degaussing. Yeah, he worked on that. He was on the Queen Elizabeth more, but he did Atlantic food convoys and stuff as well. He did a bit of all sorts while he were in World War II. Not like my poor old granddad's both. I lost both in World War II. And one of them, the biggest irony was, I still have the card he sent me mum. And he sent me mum a postcard from Singapore. That got home. It were on a different ship. And he's got sunk. No. I don't think anywhere were a good place to be in World War II. Not at all. They were all pretty shonky places to be back then. A wee bit unsettled. Yeah, even in the quiet areas, you always had chance of something happening. So anyway, what's your plans for model railways this weekend, Tony? Or anybody else wants to chip in? Yeah, funny you should say that, Paul. I'm a member on, if you get a chance, drop in every Friday night. We have a thing called the Tavern on. I do die-cast cars as well. I have another channel called Pimp My Diecasts, and there's a group of us meet up every Friday on Facebook, and it's a group called Diecast Modelers Community, and they have Friday. It's like a Zoom call, and we all have a get together. We shoot the breeze. We talk about modelling, and we have Moz going. If you've seen him off the Airfix guy, Airfix channel, Moz Models. He comes in. He were in last night. Like, it's like a Zoom call meeting, and it's not just the actual group on Facebook, the Diecast Modelers Community, or Diecast and Modelling Community. It's called that because it's not just die-casts. If you're into plastic kits, you can put that on. If you're into model railways, you can put that on. It's just a group if you enjoy modelling, really. I put trains on every now and again. Another will put plastic kits on. It's a quite interesting, informative group. So the dog you got, Tom? Oh, tell me about downsizing. Jesus, I've got quite a big place for a single bloke, and I'm managing Philip. I'm lucky in the fact I'm single, so my model railway is going to be in my living room. So I've got a 15-foot long space to play with. I've done away with the television. Can't be doing with the shite that's on it nowadays. So I'm planning on building a model railway layout along one wall of my living room. Set it out as a living room and have that, listen to radio and look about with railway. But yeah, the tatty pie that come along as just some. I just said it once at the end of one video when it stuck, and I've got I've got a guy in New York now that's saying it. I've got him in Australia saying it. It's going around the world, a Lancashire phrase. So it's quite funny, really. I've told my mate in New York, in Queens, I said, go down Bronx or something and go in a shop and say tatty pie. Where you got that? Oh, it'll be funny. I'll get him shot, probably. But yeah, it is. It's something that caught on. And I have an Irish lad, I know he chuckles at it. My mate Mickey thinks it's funny. Oh yeah, that's my recommendation for today. If you're on Facebook, if you join that group called Diecast Modelling Community or Diecast Modelers Community, it's an interesting group, covers all sorts. Oh, I've been out my butt cheeks gone numb. I guess Tony didn't see me what sort of dog he has. I think he must be going seeing to it. Still got 4 in. Come on, hold your hands up. Who's there? Have a chat. I don't bite. Well, not hard anyway. I've not got that many teeth left. Yeah, me old motorcycle me old motorcycle cogs had more teeth left on them. It's like a mate once said, I have teeth like the Holy Commandments. I've only got 10 of them and all of them are broke. Have a scratter here. Oh, yeah, the old. I got mentioning that. I got that one. It's mint condition, and I got it off eBay. Got it for under a tenner, and the drive gear had gone. So I just swapped the Chinese chassis out for another one. I have. That needs a bit of help. It had a good chassis, but it needs a bit of help, so I swapped it over. That one's gear slipping now. That's the chassis that we're on that one. So I've got one that I know is a good runner in mint. Well, Paul, there lies the story. I'm firmly in LMS region. I like them all. They all have their own individual nicer locals than others. For instance, you've got the Southern Railway, had the streamliners, the spam cans, and they're far nicer. I didn't, for instance, both the Southern had the spam cans, and you had LNER had the A4s, and I thought both of them were far nicer streamliners than the LMS Coronations. All right, Scooby, how you doing? Yeah, I thought all of them were nicer than the Coronation Streamliners. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're a nice, pretty Art Deco design themselves, but I just don't take to the design. I think the A4s are far prettier design, and the Southerns are far prettier design, if I'm honest. The Battle of Britons and stuff. I've just ordered some nameplates and stuff to do old Triang Battle of Britain. I've got one Hornby, which is essentially an updated Triang Battle of Britain, and I've got two Triang Battle of Britons I'm doing up, so I'm going to get in plates to line in. But I've done on the old Hornby and Triang one. They have moulded lines for putting the lines on, and that just isn't there on the real thing. So I shaved all the lines off and sanded them so they're smooth, and I'm going to be doing the lining with decals and putting nameplates on. I also got from Peter Spurs. He was selling off bogies for the front end of the more modern Hornby Battle of Britons, and I bought two of them at the time, so they'll be going on them. They fit on okay to go on the old Triang, so it's a bit more detail. I cut the air tanks off the back of the tender and put dapple ones on instead of the moulded ones. Hey up, Chris. How's things? Yeah, I cut them off and be putting them onto the tender. I've got a dapple kit. Like it's ideal that if you like the old Triang. I may actually get a Triang with a knackered body and see if I can convert. It must be doable, the Airfix body, to fit on the Triang chassis. I just like doing stuff like that with the old stuff. I find the modern stuff looks pretty, and it looks damn good on layouts, but when you come to working on it, it's fiddly, it's fragile, it's over complex, and like I think that's a lot what kills it for kids. You're selling these items to guys that don't necessarily have the knowledge to repair them, but you need a degree in them to work on the modern stuff. Whereas the old stuff, it were a couple of screws, a bit of cleaning up, bazinga, you're back on the layout and running again. Thinking so in some ways they're good, in other ways they're making them worse for the hobby. It's fantastic, all that detail and how they run and everything, if you're at an exhibition. But 99.9% of people don't exhibit, they just want a small train set, possibly progress to a layout, and they want easily maintained locomotives, and they're just taking that further away. But I find what it is, a lot of it now, when it's not only Hornby, it's companies in general. And the first company that ever did it was Philips for light bulbs, and they had what they called built-in redundancy, because they don't want you to use a light bulb for any length of time. They want it to break down and sell you a new one. And that's exactly why these are so fragile, so hard to work on. They don't want them to last. They want you to be replacing it in 5 years or whatever. They don't want you to be using it for 15, 20 years. They want you to be buying another, which comes down to it's being fueled by pure greed. If it come down to it, if it were built quality-wise, like the old Hornby, I mean, don't get me wrong, the old Hornby weren't perfect, but it were a lot better quality than now. And if it were built to that sort of quality where it'd last ages, and you could work on it and you could get replacement parts, I'd pay 300 quid for a Loco in an heartbeat, but I'd begrudge buying a Loco for 500 quid if you can't get spares for it in 5 years and you can't service it in 5 years. Like they changed the motors, they changed Triang and Hornby, they run the XO4 motor for years and years. It went right through from the 50s up to the 80s and 90s. I'm amazed, really, and this really sounds bad. I must have been the only poor shit that got a crap on this Flying Scotsman. That was my first Loco, and I got a Flying Scotsman set. And every single time it went back to the shop for repair, come back, run it again, and the conrods fell off. Back to the shop, they'd repair it again. Conrods would fall off. I mean, I found out in years gone now that they'd probably threaded it or something, or they'd done something to that lot. It was actually bought from Beatties. So it was a reputable shop. It was bought from Beatties in Manchester. But after that, I didn't buy on. Well, me out fella, he didn't buy Hornby. I still fancied it. And he actually got me a Lima 4F set with Lima LMS 4F Fowler. And it were all in the Crimson Lake livery. I don't know how correct that was for a 4F, I'm presuming. 99.9% were black. I don't think the 4F were a Crimson Lake Loco, but anyway, I digress. That set was absolutely bulletproof. It run for years and years, that Loco. I ended up giving it away to a friend. Let's have a look, Chris. Talking of exhibitions, have you noticed how some of the layouts are so accurate to a time period with locals and stock, but run the trains with no crew on? Yeah, there's a lot. It's like one of my videos, it's not had many views, and I'm surprised because it's a valid point. I mean, I'm not here at the moment, but Oxford cars, they all have no people in the cars, and you've got Oxford cars in middle of the road with no people in them. All it takes is 2 minutes to drill it open, paint a couple of figures up out of a bag like that, paint a couple of them up. They're not right dress or anything, but you won't notice the dress through a car window and put them in the car. Because there ain't no car going to drive itself down the road. Like you say, same with Loco crew. They ain't going to do themselves down the road, so it's weird. Like, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, mine, the layout I'm planning, it's coming so long in planning. I mean, I planned it absolutely years ago originally. It's going to be of the signal box I worked in when I first left school. I worked in one in Manchester signal boxes. Just outside, excuse me, it's where Salford Crescent is now. Used to be Windsor Bridge, number 3 box. And everything's gone really from what it was, but to make it, I have to work out. I've got a 15-foot in length, which I can accommodate it on, but I've got to work out the turning radiuses and how wide I need it to be at each end, because I need it to be 4 lanes away. There's going to be a sidings at one end and a off scene. There's going to be a sidings, and off scene the other way there's going to be a sidings, because you used to have a scrap train run every day to drop off empties and pick up scrap from Cox and Dank's scrapyard. Like, so that I went on it one evening. I went in the guard's van. It used to be owned by an 08 shunter. But when I was younger as a kid, my dad worked as a guard on the railway. And I used to go all round the northwest. I got cab rides on most stuff. I must have cabbed all the Newton Heaths class 40s and 47s. Cab 31s. Oh wait, so I think I did 25s. I did all sorts. I must have done all the Newton Heaths DMUs. I even got one winter's evening, and this is what 70s were like, what I discussed with Tony. You could get away with murder, and one of the old chaps, drivers, he said, come over here, teach you how to drive one. And he sat us on knee going over to Southport. We went from Wigan Walgate, I think he were. It was Wigan anyway, I forget whether it was Walgate. So I think it's Walgate that went underneath to Southport. So I drove it from Wigan to Southport. Sat on the out driver's knee and over. So it was interesting learning. I can tell you how they work. I couldn't be left on my own to do it. Obviously, you just don't get that because they have to do route learning and they have to know where in advance to brake. But with his assistance, he was saying, right, brake here. Right, open this up and change gear. Because it were all like, your revs are on this side and pull back, then you had your gear. Let revs off, much same as car, except you didn't have a clutch. And then your brake were over that side on handle. Like I was basically told how to drive it. You had all indicator, panelling corner for how many engines you had, depending on how many were in the set. If you had quite a big set, there was about, I think there were about 8 to 10 lights for engines. Mostly you only had a couple going because you didn't have big sets on. But you had the AWS in there as well. The Daisy at the side here, and it was quite interesting. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff you notice at exhibitions. I've not been to one for a bit. My mobility knackers me up a month. I was going to go to the Manchester one last year with it, or beginning of this year. But I was just, me health forces me to go now. I've been working the day before and I was just like, I wake up in morning nowadays and I'm like a block of salt or calcium. And it aches like a bastard, if I'm honest. Like, it takes me about an hour to get going in the morning, which isn't good if I lie in and go into work. Bloody hell, I've had an hour already. Time flies when you're having fun. I'm going to disappear in a bit and get a drink. I'd like to say I don't know whether to make this regular, what to call it or whatever. It's just instead of a video because I've not been able to punch out this week. So it's something for somebody to have a look at. Oh yeah, what are other? So yeah, in full answer. Hang on, who was it? Full answer to Paul. I'm firmly in the MLMS region from memories and stuff, and shit, that's a bummer, Chris. But I guess it's a thing we work, and it's life goes on. They've got to get somebody else to come in and take on the job. Although I agree with you, it's awful when something like that happens. Not nice when you, especially when you've been there years. Well, yeah, it is an awkward thing. Awful, even. Especially when you're giving your time to that company and a lot of the stuff's like, because it's had your influence and you've been there. Like you say, 2 weeks, it seems cruel at the time, but also for the company's point of view, they've to get a new man in and get their family in and set up with the job. Life can be brutal sometimes. In fact, I've had many cases of when life's been brutal. Just be a minute, I'm just going wet, getting something to wet me whistle. I'll be back in a minute. You'll probably hear some noises as me leg. For the mucker. Oh, back in a more. Sorry about that, chaps. Back again. Oh, that's better. Yeah, another thing is on channel. Planning. I've started getting stuff together, and I've stripped down an old what I had as a photographic layout. I called it Kodak Corner. I've started to strip that down and ready to make an Engage American layout. I mean, that's a dummy loco, but it's one of the things I'll probably put somewhere on it. I'm planning a sort of possible American preserved railway. I've got a roundhouse and a turntable to put on it. So that should be an interesting thing on channel. It's not going to be a great big layout. It's only an Engage summit. I'll probably do 6 foot long. I want to do a river on it somewhere. A railroad crossing, so it gives the American flavour. The roundhouse, the turntable, plenty of trees, like bits of countryside area. Hopefully should be okay. Anyway, I'm giving it a few minutes. Let's see, I think I'll give it to 1 hour and 10. That's plenty enough now. Another 3 minutes. And I think I'll call it a day. It were only meant to be a quick test, but some of you folks have had interesting stuff to mention. So, it's all good. And I can't grumble for I didn't do any notification. I just came straight in, so I can't really grumble. There's been, I think it topped out at 6. So you can't really grumble at 6 for no notification. Yeah, no notification and a quick test. It's not too bad. No, Paul, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. Oh, God, to be honest, a lot of the time, all you see is the bit I edited out of all the screw-ups. It's not, it ain't easy for a minute, because I use normal tools, it's just patience, and I get it done eventually, and I've always been a stubborn, if I'm honest, putting it bluntly. I find one thing that helps greatly is using steel screws and having a magnetic screwdriver. The mini, like I've got one of them mini sets. I bought one off eBay, and my mate gave me a mini set. But then I've got one here, and as you can see, it's magnetic. I've got one here at the side of me, so I can work on bench here. And I've got one in my actual workbench in back room. I've got 2 different ones. I've got this one I bought off eBay, and my friend bought me a set from Aldi. And that, honestly, if I recommended one tool above anyone else, it'd be that. It's got pretty much every head on it you'll ever need. You've got Torx drives, fillets, flatheads, triangular heads. Pretty much every screw head you'll come across in there. And every size for miniature stuff. Yeah, no shit. Brushes and springs are a bright royal pain in the ass. What I find is the best thing to do, Paul, is laid on its side. Hang on. Just imagine that's a Ringfield motor. I'll lay on it on its side with brushes upwards. I'll drop the brushes in the correct way round. Then I'll drop the springs in. Then I'll bend the tabs over till they, use the word, nipple touches the middle of the spring. If I need to, I'll bring it down gentle at first. Then you can just nudge it a little bit with screwdriver or tweezers. And then once it hits that nipple and it's located, just push the actual bar down onto it so the spring is compressed. And that's the best way I find to do it. So using mostly gravity and gentle touches, then just bend the bar onto it. That's the easiest way I find to do it. Sorry, there's no real easy ways around it. I mean, I suppose I could find a way. You might even be able to do something like sellotape them in, then cut the tape off once you put the bars over, but that's probably got as many problems as the one before for messing about. It's just one of them things you have to grit your teeth and prepare for about what I do. I'll be honest with you. I buy a bag of 10 springs, and if I manage to do one motor and keep 2 of them, it's a bonus. No, I'm joking. I've not got that bad a loss rate, but if you buy a bag of 10 springs off eBay and just take your time and get through it, you might lose the odd one, but you'll get it done. I always manage. There's a lot of swearing in between, but I always manage to do it. Or nearly always. Oh yeah, that's the best bet. Just have the motor on the side. Drop your carbon brushes in with shoulder upwards. Drop the springs onto them. Then fold your contacts over. So the nipples go into centre of spring. Sorry, I'm dying with a cold the last couple of days. But yeah, that's my best recommendation on it. There may be other ways, but it works for me. Right, anybody else want to ask anything before we wind it up? Because I'm going chilling. I'm in work tomorrow, get a bath, and it's not my birthday, but I'll have one anyway. Right, we're coming up to 1 minute 50, 1 hour 15. I think that's time to call it a day. So I'll see y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. If there's people there that's not subscribed, give us a subscribe and the bell icon for notifications. And see you in next video. Like I say, I've got absolutely loads I can get out on the channel. There's loads I'm playing with. I've got over 100 locomotives to do, so we're not short of stuff. And I mean, it's a variety. I'm not strictly all 4Os. I like oddball stuff as well. Like, where is it? I like oddball stuff. I've got some Gutsval or whatever it's called. Forget the name, Giesval, or it's an East German make. I've got both of them ones. Let's have a look. They're both non-runners, but hang on, let's have a look. No. I can get the name of it as well. Oops. Yeah, it's Gutsold. There you are. They like, it's like an old East German make. It's like the warships we had. But there's two. There's that one and there's a blue one. I got both variations. They're both non-runners. I've had a look in them and they're simple stuff, so they'll be coming up soon. So anyway, tatty pie and toodle pip and all that, and I'll catch you on channel. See you later, folks. Night for now, and have a good rest of the weekend. Tatty pie! Tatty pie!